Hello and welcome to today's video. This is my October wrap up. As I'm filming it, it is November 1st. Yes, I do still have my Halloween decorations up, but like when they're this cute, how are you meant to put them away? Like I don't know. It can be a weekend job. We can have them up another week. But yeah, that is kind of where we're at. October wrap up. These are the books I've read. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't think I've read any ebooks this month, so I think it is just those 11, which isn't a bad reading month. It's the least amount of pages I've read all year. I read 3,687 pages, which again, it's not bad. I feel like even though I've still managed to read quite a few books, the quality of the books hasn't been like super amazing. I've had 1 5-star and it was my first read of the month, and I've also just felt slumpy pretty much all month. The first week of the month we went on holiday, I read 3 books, it was amazing, and then since then I've just felt like I'm gonna slump any day, and I've really had to push myself to read, which isn't something I normally have to do. I've scrapped 2 reading vlogs because I just couldn't get through the books that I wanted to include in them. I've just really struggled, and then I also got COVID this month, which I couldn't read. Like I couldn't focus well enough to read, and oh my god, like yeah, it was difficult, but I still managed to read 11 books. It's been an okay month. We've had an okay time, and we should just get into it. So these are the books. I think I'm just gonna go through them, so I'll put them down. And these are just in the order I've read them in. I haven't done anything special with them. Here's the order I read them in. So first up we have I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. This was the first book I read this month, and it was a 5-star. It was amazing. Honestly, you've probably already heard of it. You've probably already read it, and I don't really have anything extra to add to the conversation except for the fact that I really enjoyed the book, even though it was such, like, you know, shitty topics. The humour that was also through the book really helped that and made it not feel as heavy. And yeah, it was a really good book. I would definitely recommend. Obviously, like, check trigger warnings, but do that for all the books because, you know, you want to keep yourself safe. But yeah, honestly, it was so interesting, so good, and like the way in which she writes was also really cool. She writes in like a way where when she was 5 years old and she was going through stuff, she's not writing as like herself now looking back on that. She's writing as herself, like as the 5-year-old, and it's not till the last chapter that we like truly get to see exactly how she feels and exactly how like her perspective is looking back now rather than the perspectives at every age throughout this book. It was so good. Really enjoyed it, and yeah, would definitely 100% recommend. Then next up, also on holiday, I read The Bullet That Missed. This is the 3rd book in the Thursday Murder Club series, and oh my god, I love this series. It is so good. It's so much fun. I can't wait for the next one. I'm definitely gonna pre-order the next one as well. I had got this one pre-ordered. Oh my god, it was so good. It was just so good. It was fun, it was a bit silly, and I think I gave it 4 stars, but looking back I feel like it maybe deserved higher. I think for this one I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the characters and the character progression. This one just felt very slow compared to the others, which I mean it's fine. It's like a cozy murder mystery, and I had a great time with it. It's exactly what I needed at the time, and I've just loved this series. I would 100% recommend it. And then the other book that I managed to get to was Her Majesty's Royal Coven. I loved this. I gave it 4 stars. This is one where reading it I was like, this is 4 stars, but this is book 1 of a new series, and although book 1 is 4 stars, this has potential to be a 5-star series overall. I can really see this story getting so much bigger and bigger, and yeah, really enjoyed this. I listened to the audiobook. I used Scribd. The audiobook is on there, and the audiobook is amazing. It is narrated by Nicola. I think it's Nicola, but she's like an actress. I've seen her in Bridgerton, and she's in like a load of other things as well. She also did a special episode of Taskmaster, which I have watched. Taskmaster has been my obsession this month, honestly. We've watched so many seasons of it, but yeah, that's not really relevant. But yeah, she did the narration and it was just her, but every character had a different voice and they sounded amazing and it came together so well. And yeah, if you haven't read this yet and you're thinking about it, which I would recommend the audiobook because it was so much fun and I really feel like it added to it a lot. It was great. And yeah, it shocked me, the ending of this. So I would say, you know, it's the first book in a fantasy series, it's setting up a lot, there's a lot going on, and one of the main topics I don't really want to comment on because like it's not spoken about at all in like, you know, the synopsis or anything, and I think it's a really big thing that it deals with and it does it really well. But also the ending of this, like, you know, it's not going to just end nicely, it's obviously going to end on like, you know, a bit of a like, oh, what the fuck's going to happen next? And I'd say like 2 things happened at the end, and one of them I was like, oh, yeah, I did expect that. And then the second thing happened, I was like, what the actual fuck? Okay, what the hell? And like, I've read the synopsis for the second book now, and like I think the ending of this is like the legit ending. Like there's not going to be any like magic way out of it. Like I think the ending was the actual ending, which like until reading the synopsis for book 2 I really didn't know. Even after reading it I was like, but is this real? Is this real? Did this really happen? I don't know. But yeah, really enjoyed this book, gave it 4 stars. Then I ended up doing a 24-hour reading vlog, which honestly was a disaster. It's a vlog that I got COVID in. It's a vlog that I decided to start doing after scrapping 2 other vlogs. But I read quite a few books in it, surprisingly. So yeah, the first book I finished in it was The Poet X, again one that I listened to on Scribd. Really cool. I gave it 4 stars. It's YA, it's not aimed at me, and I do take that into account when rating YA. My enjoyment level of this was probably a 3 star, but I've given it 4 and I feel like that's fair. I'm not the target audience for this, and I think the target audience would enjoy it a lot more. But also there was just one thing that was dealt with, and at the end of this book it kind of got resolved in ways that I wasn't happy with. Basically, I have written a review on Goodreads that I've done like a little blackout spoiler bit in. But yeah, essentially I didn't like the message behind how it was solved, and I thought it was having some really interesting takes on this thing, especially from a younger person's perspective, and then it kind of felt like it just wanted to wrap the book up in a nice little neat bow to end. I think it was literally like the last 20 pages or something. Like, I really can't remember. It was such a tiny little bit at the end and I was like, I wish I hadn't read that last bit. I mean, it's a fine ending, I know loads of people are happy with it, I'm just not. Then I read Finlay Donovan is Killing It. This is book 1 of like the Finlay Donovan series. I gave it 3.5 stars. I had a difficult time with this. I thought I was going to love this series basically, and that's the main problem. I thought I was going to love it and I haven't. So I've given it 3.5 stars. And I expected it to be a lot more witty, a lot more clever, and a lot more realistic. And it wasn't any of those things. The way our main character is written, I think we're meant to perceive her as being clever, but she's not. All of these things happen, all of these like accidents keep happening, and it's like, if this person's intellect is what you're putting down on the page, then these things wouldn't be happening. There was also, you know, this was published in 2021, I think. Yeah, published in 2021, and there's a lot of things that happen both within Finley's house and also outside of that area. Police are involved in part of this book. Not once is CCTV mentioned, or like the fact that cameras exist. And it's not like they omitted technology. They still had laptops and computers and phones, and those things were used. We're not tracking on phones. Wouldn't want to be silly. But yeah, there's no CCTV mentioned, there's nothing really done. I found it very unrealistic and very unbelievable. I'm definitely intrigued to give book 2 a go. I think it could get better, especially now we've had all the introductions. But yeah, there's just, oh, honestly I can't say much about spoiling it. If you've read the book, I don't even know if I did spoilers in the vlog I did of it. I'll link the vlog up above, but yeah, it was okay. I wished it was better. Then I read Fairest. This is one of the like shorter books of the Lunar Chronicles series, and this one is actually a prequel following Lavana's story. So yeah, this is, I mean technically it's 0.5, but I read this in between book 3 and 4, so I really can't say a lot, but I did really enjoy this. I gave it 4 stars. In our main story plot in Luna, Lavana is a certain type of character, and with this being a backstory, I was worried that opinions and perspectives would be changed, but they weren't. It told a really endearing backstory in a really clever way that still kept you having the same opinion of the character as you formed in the main books, and yeah, really enjoyed it, had a good time. Then I read the Inheritance Games. I've given it 3 stars. This is actually the lowest rated book of the month. Again, it wasn't bad, I just wanted more from it. I don't know, look, I've said, I feel like I've been, you know, almost at slump level all month. I've been really struggling, and this really didn't help. Yeah, honestly, I struggled through it. It took a good 100 pages to get into it. Because of how quickly a lot of the characters were introduced that were related to each other, I had to look online at like the character descriptions so that I could continue on understanding what characters were always being spoken about. There was mystery aspects to this, and it took a long time to get into them and a long time to keep working on them, and I found the ending just a bit of a letdown. Honestly, this is a trilogy. I don't understand how it's a trilogy. I definitely will check out book 2. You know, I will check it out because I felt like this had potential. Maybe book 2 is considerably better. I don't know. This one's really annoying to me because there were so many things that I liked in this book, but so many things that were just letdowns as well. So yeah. Then I eventually finished Fugitive Telemetry. This is a Murderbot Diaries book. I believe this is book 6. It's a little bit confusing, the order of the Murderbot books. This is the 6th total book, but it's the 5th novella. But the novel book, a Murderbot book, is technically book 5. So it is technically book 6, even though it's the 5th novella, but it is the 6th book in reading order, pretty sure. So yeah, this was 4.5 stars. This was the closest I got to another 5-star read this month, and I really enjoyed it. The Murderbot books are amazing. They're such quick reads, they're such easy reads, they've got amazing audio books to them, and I had a great time exploring further with Murderbot. This is book 6 in a series, that's all I can really say, but I did have a good time. And if you haven't read the Murderbot series, I definitely suggest giving them a go. You start with book 1, which is All Systems Red, and if you've read some of the Murderbot books and you're wondering if you should continue on, I would definitely recommend. Then I read Radio Silence. This is by Alice Oseman. Alice Oseman has written a lot of novels by this. She's well known now for the Heartstopper graphic novel series, but you know, like, they've written a lot of novels, like traditionally written novels as well. I've given it 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I felt like the characters acted their age, which is an issue I've had with like the books in the past, that I haven't felt like the characters are actually acting their age, but in this one they were. In this one they were in their last year of 6th form college times, so they were meant to be, you know, about 18, and I do feel like it was relatively realistic. Maybe some of the characters that we were seeing acted a bit younger, but I feel like, you know, there is such a broad way of acting at that age that it was still believable, even though like they might have seemed a little young. Like, it was believable, and that is something that's important to me in these books, and this one has definitely seemed the best for that. And I also enjoyed the story. It didn't go where I expected. It took a totally different route to what I was expecting, and overall it was just a fun time. It got a little dark in places. Definitely this is another one where I would say look up trigger warnings, but overall I had a good time. I would recommend. Oh, only 2 books left now. So the penultimate book that I read this month, I actually read during my like pumpkin picking vlog. I didn't really talk about it because it was just something that was happening in the background, but I got myself Laura in first. But actually, like, Jay got it for me actually. If we're being specific, I'm meant to be on a book buying ban, but I just really felt like I needed a book, and I needed a book that I was excited about and wanting to read and like wanting to just get into straight away, and like cute graphic novels, all that. And like, this isn't necessarily cute, like it does deal with a few like darker topics. Again, check trigger warnings, but it was what I needed. I read it in 2 days, and you know, if I was having more time for reading, I could have read it a lot quicker. So yeah, so I don't know what Jeff's doing. I'm going to take a picture because the cat is acting so weird right now. He's just like tucked himself under the bed. I've just taken a picture. I'll put it on the screen. He's being so weird. I don't know what he wants. I think it's because I've got the lights on to film and he's like, doesn't want them, he wants to sleep. But he's been so weird. But yeah, this was Lore Olympus and I gave it 4 stars. And again, it's one where I feel like as a series it has potential to be even more. Could be a 5-star series, even though book 1 is 4 stars. So yeah, fun time. And then last but not least, I will at some point have a vlog video coming to you. I was hoping to read all of these this month, but I only read book 1. It's a 10-book series, but I have read Lord Loss, which is the first book in the Demon Arter series by Darren Shan. Eventually I'll get round to the others. It's a vlog that I'm just recording in the background. As I'm getting motivated to pick them up, I will pick them up, I'll record it, and eventually there will be a whole Demon Arter vlog on my thoughts and feelings. I gave this 3.5 stars. I still think it holds up pretty well. I still think, you know, you can have a fun time reading this as an adult, but like this was one of my favourite series as a kid. When I originally read these I was probably 13, 14, and honestly I think they're probably all 5 stars in my eyes. I didn't rate books back then so I don't know, but yeah, I had a great time with this as a kid. And if you are like that sort of age, like they are horror, but like I think they were suitable for me as a kid, so I assume they're suitable for kids. Yeah, I would definitely recommend picking this up. As an adult, I don't know. For me, they've got that like reminiscing, looking back factor, which is why I'm really happy to read these and pick them up still. If you have that, if you already read them, go for it. If you haven't, maybe look into someone who's read a lot more Darren Shan, because like I don't know what the best of his series are for like adults. I do own another series, which again I'll hopefully get to at some point. But yeah, there's so many like horror series that Darren Shan has wrote. I would just say look it up. Yeah, figure out which one calls to you the most and which one makes you excited to read it, and go with that one. So those were all of the books that I read in October. Again, looking back, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look like a bad reading month. I've just been slumpy and it's not a fun time being slumpy. So that is that. I do really hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the wrap up. Again, I'll be back with one next month at the end of November, hopefully. Fingers crossed I did a bit better. I will link my November TBR up above in case you haven't seen it and the books that I'm hoping to read this month. But yeah, give the video a like if you liked it, subscribe down below if you'd like to see more content like this, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.